Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video was a last minute hurry up and rush build. As you can see, I didn't even finish the transmission. I wanted to get the Ultra Champ out on YouTube. I see today, as you can see behind me on the TV screen, it was introduced by Associated, I guess, to the public. But this has been available on pre-order if you were part of the Heritage Associated Club. So I joined the RC10 Club about maybe 2 months ago, and then you were able to pre-order certain models, and this is part of their Heritage collection. So I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to receive it. I received it yesterday. I couldn't wait to build it. And the reason why is my original RC10 that I raced as a kid has an 8L trailing arm suspension. Originally, not the re-release, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, but I have the original design. It's from the late 90s, well, early 90s, late 80s. So yeah, so let me go real quick because I don't want to get into my crazy babble because you know how I am. And don't adjust your screen if you think my hair's darker because I had to match the chassis. Plus, the girlfriend got on my case. And I'll show you over here. She caught me building it, or somewhere over here in the video. She caught me sneaking building the car. I was trying to get it done quick. But anyway, so overall RC10 build. If you've built one of these before, nothing surprising. Instructions, there's some mistakes. Maybe I'll put up some things. There's some screws. They had the wrong lengths listed. They tell you to put Loctite in spots where I don't think you need Loctite. In the spots that you think you need Loctite, they don't tell you to put Loctite. So that's in your discretion. Since I'm not, this is gonna be shelf car, shelf queen. Yeah, I didn't put any Loctite on it, but I think you use your discretion, but I think in some spots it's going to need Loctite. In some spots I don't think it needs Loctite. But anyway, let's just go over really quick. Black chassis. So it's a black tub chassis, aluminum. I've never had a non-gold pan chassis. But all the cars I've ever had either had the gold pan or they had, a carbon fiber or a fiberglass chassis, whatever, back in the day, the graphite chassis. So this was fun for me, to put this together. So you want to get to the nitty gritty. Front end is stock, nothing crazy except for the bumper system. The turnbuckles, I think, are the ones that were used on the RC10 four-wheel drive. Like you see the turnbuckles there. They have the left and right thread, and they have the positioning and which way they should be. I just stuck them on. As I'm looking at them, they're not. They should be all facing the left or all facing the right. The lines that's in here, but again, shelf queen, built it quick. It's not even lined up. They're still a little crooked, but I did it really fast. So look at the bumper system. This is supposed to mimic the Tamiya Super Champ. I have one up there. I was gonna bring it down, but I figured out whatever. It's not a Super Champ video, but as you can see, this bumper bolts on right there with two little Allen bolts, and this secondary unit here, this piece is separate. That bolts onto the tube structure with two screws. And that's how they made this mount up. So it's pretty neat. I mean, it's got a weird grayish, brownish tan color. I guess it's kind of to mimic the Tamiya bumpers. I guess so, that's what I'm guessing, but And then, okay, so the second most, the second or third or whatever obvious thing you can see here is this is the, I guess, the Nerf guard system. It slides on. So these plastic pieces here, they have like a slot and they slide onto the tub. It's kind of cool. Then there's a standoff to bolt it down to the chassis and stock holes, so that all this stuff could be put on a stock RC10. As long as the holes are there, it's pretty much a bolt-on kit. The back is neat. So the pieces they used here, these two pieces in here, that's from the RC10 four-wheel drive. I noticed that right away when I took it out of the bag. So these parts are from the RC10 four-wheel drive. The bulkhead is different. Maybe I'll put a picture because I'll take a picture of the instructions. The bulkhead is different than any other bulkhead of any other car. So it's not a standard bulkhead. It has a little different shape to it. It's got these two holes in the back right here to secure this like wing system. And this wing system here for the trailing arms, these two like triangle pieces, they tell you that when you're in the instructions, when I'll put another picture up, to keep this straight. Little tip, bolt these down first, then slide this under, and then bolt these on. If you try to like bolt these on first and go to put it on, for some reason it doesn't fit right. I was fighting with it. So I put these on first, bolted them down, put them on last. So you can just slide it in under. There's a little hole in here. Slide it in, mount it down. No problem. Okay, the trailing arms themselves, they remind me a lot of anal style trailing arms. They really do. Take the standard flange bearings. Standard, I don't know if this is the quarter or the 3/16. I don't remember which one it is. I'll have the instructions. I'll show pictures of it. Standard, standard RC10 shocks. The bottom is cool because the A&L trailing arm kit had it in fiberglass. This is steel, which is neat. I don't know if it's steel or aluminum. It's probably aluminum, but it's so strong and sturdy. That's why I'm thinking it's steel. I don't know. Maybe it could be steel. Maybe it's aluminum. I don't know. It's really strong. That's all I'll tell you. Maybe it's most likely it's probably aluminum. I'm just thinking it's steel because it's so sturdy. But it's pre-threaded, so that when the screws go in, they're already threaded. Doesn't require Loctite according to the instructions. Yeah, and you can see the droop in the back, and you can see how much of suspension there is. It's pretty neat. I mean, it's got a lot of travel. It's really cool. Reminds me a lot of my A&L trailing arm setup. Just that the A&L trailing arm system doesn't have these top wing pieces. And the A&L trailing arm system doesn't have like a one-piece mounting system. They just have like two pieces that bolt here. This is pretty neat because this, to me, I'm pretty sure this is a standard RC10 rear shock tower, and this piece just bolts onto it. So that's cool. It's got a cool design there. Yeah. So I didn't build the transmission. It comes with a stealth transmission, but the version 1, not the, I probably said it already because I did footage after this. Not the version 2. Similar to I think it's in the 89 Masami build. I think that's the same transmission. The only thing what's bothering me is, even though there's nothing in here, the droop, you can see, look at the shock. The shock is so, I know this has to come down and get adjusted, but usually there's more springiness to the shock. The spring goes all the way up to the top collar. It's the only thing I'm noticing, that it's, I don't know, that I didn't like. But that could just be because the car's not done yet. But as you can see, there's plenty of suspension travel. It does need, there's no weight in the back, there's no motor, no electronics. It does need to be adjusted. But the cool thing is, if you were part of the AE Club, and you purchased this model ahead of time, you got a little gold coin. Pretty cool. I mentioned it early in some of the early footage, but yeah, this is neat. It's not plastic, it's metal. So this is really cool. I'm glad I have this. I think I have some close-up pictures of it I'll put around, or if it's in the footage, you'll see it. The box, got the Heritage decal on it, the hologram, which is pretty cool. And I noticed, I'm not sure if all of them, or this is the only one. Maybe I'm losing my mind, but the seal was chrome. I'm used to seeing them black with clear. I don't know if that was just me noticing something, or maybe I'm just out of my mind. But I thought that would be cool to look at. And basically, yeah. So, I mean, the box is exactly what you see on the screen. I'm trying to see if there's any difference. Because that's the commercial. Yeah, it's probably all the same stuff. I mean, this is the Heritage one. It looks like the same thing. Decal sheet's pretty cool. So just to go over it with you really fast. The decal sheet is actually like if you built a J. Halsey car, J. Halsey kit, you could spray the body one color, and the red and yellow and orange could either be painted or a decal. They give you the decal. Well, they do the same thing with this. So they give you pre-cut out like Super Champ, Ultra Champ decals, right? Pretty neat. Then they give you the paint scheme. So you really don't have to tape this up and paint it. You could actually just put the decals on, which makes it a lot easier, a lot faster. And, one can of paint, not a lot of masking. This guy's going to do it in 3 colors. This is how I like to do it. I'm going to paint it up. I think I'm going to use Tamiya Brilliant Blue, red, and that's my just my thought process. And also what they give you is pretty neat. They give you this little sticker guide, right? I'm going to photocopy this, but they give you this little sticker set. And this sticker set is how to cut the body out. I don't know if you've ever built a Kyosho kit lately, but the Kyosho kits come with that. They come with like a decal you put over the body so you can follow the cut lines, because the cut lines aren't molded in. And same idea, you stick them on the body and you have your cut lines. So it's pretty cool. So I thought that was pretty neat. So yeah, I mean, the kit's basic. It does come with a driver figure, the standard RC10 driver figure. He's over here, actually. You know, here's our guy. I don't even know if I'm gonna bother painting this, but comes with it, which is cool. Some of the kits show in the instructions, some of them don't. There were a couple of faux pas in the instructions. There were some boo-boos. I think even it mentions that the plates for the trailing arms are supposed to be gold, but they obviously you see that they're black. Protect body, nothing new here, nothing special. And here is the transmission, the stealth transmission. Like I said, I think it's the V1 because it's got that style slipper. Was it hard to build? Absolutely not. Was it fun? For an RC10 build, I think we've done a whole bunch. Yeah, it was fun. I haven't built a stock style RC10, like it's Brennan especially, with the original Brennan style, in a long time. So, this was fun. Then to build the rear with the trailing arms and to see the little, and just to see how they reinforced it and engineered it to their standards other than the A&L kit. So it was really neat. I really enjoyed this. This was fun. I have to do the body, obviously. I have to set the suspension up. I got to build the transmission. But once all that's done, I'll feature it in another video with some other stuff. I'll show the paint job of it. But if you're looking for an RC10 and you want something different, I think this is a great kit. Or if you have an RC10 and you want to, do the trailing arm setup, I know in this video they were saying that the parts will be available separately. I would go for it. I mean, trailing arm cars are great, especially with like a lot of bumps and very bumpy terrain. So they have their place, That's why they're obviously these type of suspensions were designed. I love this stuff. So this was a fun car to build, just for the nostalgia and the idea of it. I thought it was going to be gimmicky because of the way the way it looks, but in a way, yes, but in a way, no. It's definitely like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Retro 80s. It nailed it right in the head for me. So with all the all the one after the other kits that Associated keeps pushing out the door, and a lot of people getting turned off, and even me after a while I was like, come on, how many more kits am I gonna buy? This kit to me was worth it. Just the retro feel. And again, if you don't want to build a whole kit, buy the parts for the back. Build a trailing arm kit. Drive a trailing arm car. It's definitely worth it. It's fun. It's different, different maneuverability. It's a different feel. So that being said, this might be my shortest video ever. Anyway, thanks for listening to all my nonsense. I hope I showed you enough of this car to get you interested and get your interest peaked and see what it's all about, and hopefully you pick one up or at least buy the parts. Anyway, enjoy building cars, and yeah, I'm gonna be quiet now. So please subscribe, like, comment. Again, please comment. I'm trying to make videos. I'm doing the best I can. If no one watches them and no one wants me to make other videos, I'm not going to bother. But if you want content or you want me just to show something different, please go right ahead. Comment. I do appreciate it. All right, thanks.